Well, hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to the Girls Who Recover podcast. I was a guest on the Adventure Paradox podcast this morning, which is airing, I believe, next Friday. And interestingly enough, the host of that podcast, Kat Caldwell Myers, her episodes drops next week on the 23rd on Girls Who Recover. So it was an interesting synchronicity. I mentioned that though, because she started our conversation before we ever even hit record with a prayer and a drop in. And I thought to myself, well, I pray and I do a bit of meditation before I hit record on my own podcast, but why not invite you into something similar? And so I welcome you and invite you wherever you are and wherever you're listening. Let's take a breath together and let our breath be an invitation to spirit, to God, to source, to whatever is beating your heart right now. Let's breathe that in. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. And on the exhale, let's let this be an invitation to release everything that's come before this conversation so that we drop into the present moment. And if you need a reminder, that's really all there is the eternal now, the right now, the present moment, and all that other stuff that happened today and all those other things that you're thinking about tomorrow aren't even real. What? What are you talking about? It's all an invitation back to the present moment. Every prayer, every meditation, every song you love, every person you love, everything you're looking forward to, it's all an invitation to more love and more deeply being with what is, being with the present. I was on a FaceTime call earlier with a woman I adore, one of my closest friends. And she's upset, she's crying, she's stressed out, she's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. And I said, "Hey, sis, like, let's just be with what is. Would you be open to just sobbing here on the FaceTime with me? I want to just be with you in the sob, in the guttural crying of the grief of what is." An invitation back to the present moment where all recovery exists, where all presence lives, where all emotions are begging to be experienced and felt and released. None of this is on the script. I don't know where we're going today. Promise you I have notes. And if you've been around a while, you know my favorite thing is to just completely abandon them from the jump. Thank you for praying with me. Thank you for the breath that we shared. Thank you for the investment of your time and your ears and your energy and your frequency and your welcoming in of this gorgeous message that hopefully pours through the microphone into the middle of your heart. Also, welcome back to Sober September. I love Sober September. Are you loving it as much as I am? I'm like, not sure what's happening. Week one, I shared my story. Last week, you got to hear from Jessica Duenas, the teacher of the year, who was also battling from alcoholism. Next week, so juicy. Kat Caldwell Myers, the host of the Adventure Paradox podcast. Her conversation made me feel like I was so lit up. And I also almost peed my pants like 5 times because we laughed so hard. And she's a powerhouse. So be sure that you listen back, listen forward, but always stay in the present moment. So, week one, we talked a lot about sobriety, what it is, what my story is, why it's worth it, sobriety, sobriety, sobriety. And so a lot of people ask the question, is Girls Who Recover all about people who are just getting sober? And the answer is a hard no. Recovery extends so far beyond sobriety and also includes it as a really important part if that is what your path requires. And so, do you have to be sober to be a Girls Who Recover? Absolutely not. You do need to be interested in the arc between setback to comeback and curious about maybe your story helping others or being supported by someone else's story. And so, if you are sober, welcome. Me too. Today's conversation, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm gonna put it off a little bit because I have some opinions about this. And I'm finally feeling like it's my podcast and I'm gonna share my opinions. And if you don't like it, I'm okay with that. And I love you and goodbye. And letting that be fine and letting it be enough and letting it be okay. And so thank you for walking this journey with me so that I can express my voice, my opinions, my experience fully. And maybe that allows you to give yourself the permission to do the same. So we can stop dying from good girl syndrome and stop suffering with the masks and the cages that we put on ourselves or we're given by society and accept consciously or not. And don't say the thing that needs to be said. I had a conversation with two clients this morning, and I said, "You're going to have to forgive me in advance because I'm the coach who's going to say the thing that other people will not say. I want you to see it as an act of love. Are you open for that?" So I'm asking permission. But if a woman comes and sits in a conversation with me, it's a promise. I'm going to say to you what I see out of love because I know who you are. That's one of the most gorgeous gifts of recovery is that I have this deep faith in the woman sitting across from me over and over and over. There was a woman who sat in my rocking chair this morning, and I said to her, "I have no doubt in the center of my soul that you are born worthy, you are born deserving, you are born whole and complete. You're not going to see me look left or look right. I'm looking right in the center of your soul because I'm pretty sure my assignment today was to remind you who you are." And whether you're in my rocking chair or you're in a Zoom call as a client or you're my favorite listener on the podcast, maybe that's what you came here to hear today. The conversation I want to be brave enough to have is the difference between sobriety and recovery, because there is a difference. And at the beginning, I didn't understand. But I want to take you back to when I was a kid, and my dad had terrible alcoholism. He was asked to leave the family because of it, and he tried to get sober. He went to treatment, which, yay, treatment, if that's your path. He went to this and he went to that and he went to family and he went. And the thing where he actually got sober was a movement of recovery. And after you've been around a little while, you don't have to stick around a long time to hear this message. It's not about the booze. It never was. Does that mean you can drink again? No, ma'am. It doesn't. But I was baffled when I saw my dad leave our family and then ultimately find himself in the restorative, transformative arms of a recovery community. And then I saw the same man that I couldn't wait to get away from become the dad I had always wanted, who showed up for games, who drove hours just to be at a choir performance, who said over and over again, not what's wrong with you or what's going on, but I love you. I love you. I'm proud of you. I love you. I'm proud of you. I love you. I'm proud of you. Not in a delusional way, but in a way that allowed his heart to speak directly to mine, that was free of conditional expectations, that was free of judgment, that was free of criticism. It was a pure, unfiltered love. I love you and I'm so proud of you, no matter what kind of shenanigans I was into. And I was into a lot of shenanigans. Okay. That in one story is the difference between sobriety and recovery. Total transformation of a human looks like the real game of next level recovery. And sobriety, for me, in addition to my dad, love you, Dad. I know you're out there listening. You're so proud. And I've got his picture right behind me. I thought when I got sober, which, by the way, wasn't really my idea, nor did I want to. I was not sober curious. I was not like, oh, maybe my life will be better if I stop drinking. Like, hey, listen, if that's you, my sister, yes, 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 yes. My path was a little different. It was literally the last option. I couldn't imagine a life being sober. I couldn't imagine a life without alcohol or drugs and many other things, as it turned out. I thought sobriety was going to be the end of me. And I also thought that if I could get sober, then I could finally have everything that I wanted. And I thought sobriety was the end all be all. And what I realized, and maybe if you're in recovery too, you're like, I know where you're going, right? It's not about, it never was about the booze. And the booze was actually a gift It was actually a stopper, an interrupter in me taking myself out. So I love alcohol for that reason. I don't currently drink it. I've been sober for over 15 years, but I'm not mad at alcohol. I'm not mad at the alcohol companies. I'm not mad at the alcohol that they sell at the gas station. I'm not mad at it. I'm grateful for the experience that I had, because without that experience, I wouldn't be here up in your ears right now. I wouldn't be the mom of 3 wild girls. I wouldn't be in a lovely marriage. I wouldn't be. You understand that? You understand. And what I found out pretty quickly, like not too fast that I ran out the door, but quickly enough, is like, oh, it wasn't about drinking. Even though when I drank, the thing that I have, I don't know if it's a diagnosis. I don't know if it's science. I don't know if it's not biology. I don't care. I'm not interested, except if you want to come be a guest and talk about it on the podcast, we can have a fun time. I don't care what it is or the biology behind it, but there's something that happens to me when I take a drink, any kind of drink, and the switch flips on and the hashtag is more, 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 more. And I never think that I choose that, because alcoholism overrides choice, and it overrides the mental state, and it overrides logic, and it's like a zombie. We talked about that a couple of episodes ago, where I'm me, but I'm not really me, because the alcoholism has overridden the true essence of who I am. So, in a nutshell, I realized that sobriety was only the beginning of what I can only call a great spiritual awakening, a great spiritual experience. And sobriety was the thing that got me in the door, but it's recovery that set me free. And I see this time after woman after woman. Sobriety gets us in the door. And if we stay in the door and we make it just about staying sober, we're missing out on this total expansive freedom that real recovery offers. I thought when I got sober, it was just about not drinking. And a lot of people think that recovery is just about not doing the thing, not drinking, not drugging, not sexting, not gambling, not overspending, not overfunctioning, not. And we're white knuckling it the way through life, just not drinking one day at a time. And I definitely thought that. So I get it. And I thought that if I just removed the thing that was causing me so many problems, I'd be good. But the truth is, nope. It wasn't about alcohol at all. Alcohol was literally just the symbol, just the symptom for what I call the great separation, the great dis-ease of separation. And when we recover, a lot of it is about letting go. It's about letting go of the belief that we are separate, that we are a separate wave from the ocean, that we are a separate ray from the sun. It's not possible. That we are separate from each other. We're not. That we're separate from our own divinity. We're not. But our negative ego feeds us so much bullshittery. That's its own language, right? Your negative ego speaks it, just so you know, mine does too. And it feeds us this idea that we're separate, we're different, we're special, we're worse than, we're less than, we're better than, we're too thin, we're too fat, we're too old, we're too. We turn it on ourselves. So, of course, we're going to turn it on each other. Of course, especially women against women, because we haven't created the truth about recovery. And that's what we find here, is that there's no separation. That's a lie. The truth is in the deep understanding, remembering, and realization of the connection between us and God and each other and love, and the only things that are actually real versus the stuff that's spewing across your headlines, which is so filled with delusion, disillusion, toxicity, and separation, and fear that we can't even take a full breath without drinking. Okay? Stopping drinking was the intro, was the doorway to becoming who I was actually created to be. And woman after woman after woman after woman who speaks into their experience with sobriety versus their experience with recovery looks a whole lot different when they talk about one versus the other. So I want to talk about sobriety just for a minute, okay? Like, It's important. If you need to get sober, you need to get sober. Like, let's start first things first. I needed to get sober. I am noticing, though, that there's a lot of cultural shifting around sober and sobriety, and I love it. I love all the paths. And I want to affirm that whatever path you're on, as long as you feel totally free and it's working well for your general happiness and service in the world, I support it. If there's a gap between you feeling sober and you feeling lit up by your own life and feeling like you are on purpose and of deep service to the world, let's have a conversation, because it might not be that sobriety is the only thing you need. So yeah, sober sexy. I just saw today that there's a channel or a hashtag on TikTok. I still don't have TikTok. I'm really not interested in it. Maybe one day. I'm not closing my mind. But there's a thing called sober talk. I'm like, oh, sober talk. That's exciting. So some trends about sobriety. There's a ton of people, specifically women, maybe men. I don't know. I don't really follow very many men who are talking a lot about like how to live sober and like how to make a mocktail and how to go to a wedding sober. And yes, living sober is super important. I had to do all of that. Not be an influencer, but like live the actual experience. But I hope that I can be totally real with you. It actually isn't about you just being sober. And it wasn't about me just being sober either. And I'm so grateful that there were women up in my ear saying, listen, you think it's about not drinking, but this is about living as the freest, most full expression of yourself, who's so filled with life and love and light that people might need sunglasses when you walk in the room. That is what real recovery has to offer. So let's break it down and keep it simple. Sobriety is about abstinence. It's the not drinking. It's the decision or the choice or the involuntary choice to stop drinking or using or over functioning or over gambling or over people pleasing or over codepending or whatever your thing is. The abstinence is just the beginning. And I want to call this out that too many of us are stopping before the miracle actually happens, which is in recovery. It's way beyond sobriety. That's why my podcast is not called Sober Girls. I'm pretty sure there is a Sober Girls out there and I love them. Let's do a collaborative because sobriety is important, but it can't be the only thing. I don't know why this is coming through, but it's like deciding that you're going to be vegan and then letting that be enough instead of embracing the full identity of a woman who's so lit up by her own health and her mindful food choices and her care for the planet. You see the difference. Sobriety is just like a drop in the bucket that's available for your own personal transformation. It's focused on the not. I'm not drinking, not drinking. I'm not using. I'm not sleeping with inappropriate people. I'm not overworking again. I'm not overspending again. It's the not, the not, the not, the not, the not. But the truth that you and I both already know is that we don't change based on not doing something. We have to become someone more expansive who naturally makes different choices because she's embraced a completely upgraded identity. And that is what recovery is about. And I have seen too many sober women, and I'm going to call this forward. I'm not going to lie. I see it in men too. Okay. But I'm not here for them. Too many sober women who are sober, and maybe you have 1,000 days, and maybe you have a year, maybe you have, God forbid, 20 years, but you aren't recovered. And here's how I know: you're not drinking, but you're not free. You're not drinking, but you are so hard in the struggle. It's like it's never ending. I see my friends sometimes and they're like, oh, I'm struggling with this. And now I'm struggling with this. And poor me and this surgery and this death and this divorce and blah, 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 blah. And it's like their whole feed, their whole being is so addicted to struggle. We might as well send them to STA, Struggles Anonymous. I don't know if I did the letters right. Okay. Again, like, maybe a little judgment because there's a solution and I'm pretty sure you know what it is. And so if you forgot, allow me to remind you. Allow me to remind me. You don't have to be sober and be struggling all the time. You don't have to be sober and suffering all the time. You don't have to be sober and believe that life is hard because it's not. And many of us are clinging to this idea that, like, oh, I'm sober and I'm one day at a time and like life is still hard and this and that. And like, I love you. I love you. Real recovery is us being able to look at our life and no matter what, do a few key things so that when I look at the whole of my 24 hours and I look at the whole of my life, all I can say is, what? I get this. And yes, people are dying. And yes, the news is what it is. And yes, the things, right? But the way I know my recovery is strong and I'm plugged into something that's so powerful is that when I see my 24 hours, I see happy, I see joy, I see freedom, no matter what. No matter what. That doesn't mean that I'm not abreast of what's happening in the world. It doesn't mean that I don't love you with all of my heart when you're having a hard time. But it does mean that I want to invite us forward into what is possible for us when we refuse to continue to suffer from the disease of separation and connect, which is what real recovery requires, with this idea that I am not different. I'm not separate. I'm not extraordinary or the worst. I am the daughter of the divine, and so are you. And that requires a complete transformation, which just not drinking will not create. It won't. I can walk into a room of people who are there for sobriety, and I can literally separate the ones who are recovered and the ones who are not by the number of chips that they've picked up, not by the number of days that they have, not even by the number of steps they've taken. It's the people who look like they're filled with light, not because they're faking positivity, but because they've remembered who exactly they are. Even in the deepest struggle, they know they're connected. They know who they are. They know that these feelings are a gift of authentic human experience. And they're not hiding in a corner pretending like everything is okay. And they're not purveying toxic joy in the meetings. They're saying, this is happening. And I'm so grateful for my life because I'm walking through this valley and I'm walking through this pain. And I have her, she's on the left and she's on the right and she's in front and she's in the back. And God's got us all. And so we're so filled with light that really, like, the women who were not connected most of the time are like, oh, I don't like her. She's too bright. And we're going to be okay with that. We're going to be okay with that. So I'm calling us forward because I'm over it. I'm over seeing sober people suffer. I'm over seeing sober women suffer. Right. And there's a difference between pain and suffering. Pain, welcome to humanity. It's inevitable. We're going to lose people we love. We're going to do things we wish we wouldn't have done. We're going to experience things that we're like, I don't know who created this, but this is not what I wanted. All of that is welcome to the human experience. Being a spiritual being, having a human experience, there's probably going to be some pain involved. But recovery is saying, I am welcoming this pain. I am feeling it with the depths of my capacity in this moment. And I refuse to hang on to the struggle because I know who I am and I know whose I am. And I know that I am made for more light, more love, more service, more joy. And I'm open to that. I'm seeking that and I'm experiencing that and I'm grateful for that. Just because you're not drinking does not mean you are free. And until we can answer the question, am I totally free? There's recovery work to do. Because when we get sober and we continue to struggle, that means we're still subscribing to lies and paradigms and old beliefs that we're separate, that life is hard, that we're different, that I'm not enough, that I'm not worthy. Like, nope, that's not recovery. That may be sobriety. It's possible that we can be sober and recovered all in the same breath. And I'm encouraging us, like, I couldn't experience recovery until I got sober first. So let's put first things first. But the invitation here is, yes, you're sober, and are you free? If not, this is an invitation into real recovery. And this is what real recovery looks like. I'm going to say we because I'm claiming it for myself. We are connected. We are hopeful. We are authentic. We see whatever is as the portal to connecting with each other and to God, and the portal to possibility. We call out our own limitations and our own beliefs, and we partner with women who will do the same because they love us so much. And they will call out the bullshittery, and they will call us nearer to God, nearer to source, nearer to spirit. And together we remember who and whose we are. And we're not out there suffering from Lone Ranger syndrome. Again, another synonym for separation. I got to do it on my own. I got to work really hard. I got to make sure I take care of all the kids and the partner and the job and the this and the that. And I wonder, like, what's the last time I ate a nourishing meal? When's the last time that I took a full, deep breath and at the end of it said, yes, yes, I love this 24 hours. Yes, I'm available for more freedom. Yes, I'm available. We talked about on the Adventure Paradox podcast this morning about how it's possible to be that kind of yes to your own life every single day. No bad days. That doesn't mean we're pouring over suffocating toxic positivity. What does that mean? It means you're not actually authentic. You're not feeling your sadness. You're not feeling your sorrow. You're not feeling your rage. You're not feeling your feelings. You're just putting on the mask, just a different one. It's not the booze mask anymore. It's the everything's perfect mask. You have friends like that, right? Do you love them? Do you feel connected to them? Are you like, yeah, I definitely want to be like her because she's perfect? No, you don't, because perfection is a delusion of the patriarchy, and it's a weapon that we use against ourselves. And so I question the perfection that you're trying to wear today, and my own, and my own. Okay. I don't know if you can hear this. The dog is barking. She's very excited. She like wants to resonate with her, with what's being said right now. Okay. Let me take a breath. Where are we? Okay, yes. All right, Dano. So great. Yes, I'm with you. I'm done being sober and suffering. I'm done being sober and sick. I'm done being sober and making excuses for my old ideas and my struggles and my I don't want to feed that. You know that I'm going to tell you a quick parable. And let's see if I can make it women. And forgive me because I probably won't be perfect, but perfect is boring anyway. So there's a wise grandmother and a little granddaughter, and they're a part of a village and a tribe that's just filled with wisdom and truth and yearning for connection. And in the circle at the night fire, there's a good wolf and there's a bad wolf, and they're fighting each other. And the grandmother's telling the little granddaughter the story. And the good wolf is fighting, and the bad wolf is fighting, and they're fighting for their lives, and they're fighting for their lives, and they're fighting each other, right? The light and the darkness, the positivity and the negativity, the hope and the toxicity. Those are all fighting each other. And they're fighting and they're fighting and they're fighting. And the little girl says, but grandmama, which one wins? And the grandmother pauses and she takes a deep breath and she says, my child, the one that wins is the one you feed. The one that wins is the one you feed. And so we as humans have these same wolves dancing and fighting and dancing and fighting and dancing and fighting within us. We as sober women may have this as well, do have this as well. And the question I'm asking you to ask yourself, and I'm asking right along with you, is what wolf am I feeding? What wolf do I want to win? Is it the one that's addicted to struggle and suffering, or is it the one that wants my freedom, my happiness, my joy, my alignment, my wholeness? Which one? And it's up to you and it's up to me who gets the food, who gets fed with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our attention, with what we're watching, with what we're saying, with who we're surrounding ourselves with. All of that is us feeding the wolf. And you get to decide. You decide the wolf you feed. And I'm not letting you off the hook here. We can know which wolf we're feeding by taking one step back and looking at the totality of your life. Look at your career. What wolf are you feeding? Look at your money. What wolf are you feeding? Look at your health. What wolf are you feeding? Look at your marriage, your relationships, your kids. What wolf are you feeding? And this isn't, I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to call you forward. You get to feed the good wolf. And that is what real recovery is about. Feeding the good wolf. If you truly believed that you were worthy and deserving of all the freedom and all the joy and all the authenticity and all the things that you were dreaming about, what would your thoughts sound like? What would your feelings be? What relationship would you have to the Creator? These aren't rhetorical. I want you to answer these questions and get clear. Okay, so great. You had me at I'm done being sober and struggling. What do I do? Well, thank you for being here. Just your presence is a gift that you're giving yourself. So, what makes recovery real recovery? I want to share some of the anchors that I've found. And listen, they can look different for you. You can be special if you want to. The question I want you to come back to is, are you free? Are you happy? Are you joyful? Are you free? Are you connected? If the answer is yes to all of them, then please follow your own model. If the answer is no, I want to invite you into the framework and to the tenets of the essence of what I believe and my experience has been, which is real recovery, not just sobriety, not just basic recovery, real next level recovery. Okay, are you ready? Maybe you got a pen out. Maybe you got your note sheet. Maybe you're like, oh, why am I listening to this? I don't like her. It's okay. Keep going or turn off. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Good job, me. Now I can count to 5. 5 tenets of what I believe to be the essence of real recovery. They look different for different people, but the principles are going to be the same. Okay. So give me a head nod if you agree. Number 1 is if you want real recovery, you got to have some sort of framework for change. So my experience is that someone who just says, okay, now I'm going to get my self help book and I'm going to go create change in my life fails like 99.9% of the time. And so real recovery requires a framework for change. So perhaps that might look like the 12 steps of a 12-step program. Perhaps it might look like the principles of a wisdom tradition. Perhaps it might look like the framework of a spiritual path. Perhaps it might look like a therapeutic model. I have my personal experience and opinions about the path that worked for me. I do not have those opinions about the path. I do have an opinion that you need to have a path. And maybe it's not one that you created for yourself. It's one that's created and been tested and tried and true and worked over and over and over and over again for the people who actually did it. Choose that one or choose another one, then choose again. We need a framework for change. We need a model to follow. That's why in my coaching practice, I'm never going to start a call with like, okay, sis, what do you want to talk about? Because that sounds more like therapy. And I love therapy. You know that. But coaching is based on a framework for change, for personal change, for professional change, for change from the inside outside. So we're not going to sit down and wonder what we're going to be talking about. There's a clear model, framework, process, pillars for transformation. And that's what I use in my practice. And so, since that's my experience being a woman in recovery, the real kind of recovery, I'm going to offer that as a requirement, some sort of framework. Now, some of them don't have the best marketing team. Some of the ones that maybe you've considered, you're like, oh no, I'm not bad enough for that one. I want to go find one that's a little bit sexier and that's featured on Instagram and like my favorite influencer belongs to. And that's fine too. I welcome you to try as many variations as you like until you find the one that makes you free. Number 1, we need a framework for change. Number 2, we need community. It's not optional. When you tell me you're not a people person, that just tells me how sick you are with the disease of separation. We are all people because we were all created by the creator of people who created us to be connected with other people. Okay. You heard me? What I see in you is what I see in myself, whether I like it or I don't like it. We're all just a beautiful reflection of each other. Whew. And we need community. And so, whether that looks like you going to meetings, or you going to church, or you going to a Course in Miracles group, or you going to an online sisterhood, or you going like whatever, there's so many options out there. But a non negotiable is that you plug yourself into a community for a couple of reasons. One, so that you can stop suffering from the disease of separation, first, most important. Number two, so that you can pour into the woman whose story sounds a little bit like yours, and you can share your own feelings and your own experience and your own authenticity and your own shame so that you both are set free. Why do you need to be in community? So you can serve others. The next reason is so others can pour into you. So others can pour into you, but it's not in that order. I don't go to my recovery community so that others can pour into me. Because I'm really recovered, my mission when I go to a recovery community is to serve and connect and pour into others. And that makes me available to receive when other women want to pour into me and allows me to say, thank you. Yes, please. So you see, it's a community, it's a circle, it's a cycle. We're all connected. It also allows me to remember that I'm one among many. I'm not better than, I'm not worse than, I'm not extraordinary. I'm like a simple Jane, a simple Dana, just trying to connect with my simple friends, trying to live a simply recovered life. And I don't have to be the most beautiful person in the room. And I don't have to have the best degree. And I don't have to tout my ego as a mask wherever I go. I can simply go and tell the truth about my experience. And with that, I get to be free right next to you. So, number one, we need a framework. Number two, we need a community. You will never convince me that you can have real recovery and not a community to back you up, where you can serve, where you can support. I'm a no on that and a yes on community. The third non negotiable is you need a connection with something that's bigger than you. Non negotiable. I'm going to make a joke about this. You can come for me if you want to. My friend, same friend this morning, she was like, hey, I'm going to be speaking at this meeting. It's called A for Agnostics. And I was like, I'm not going to a meeting that says A for agnostics. But what I did say to her, I was like, I'm totally supporting you. I hope you fuck with them and go in and tell them how good God is and what it looks like to be really recovered and have a powerful connection to something that is lighting you up so relentlessly that you can't help but pour into others. Go fuck with them, A for agnostic, and bless that portal to the entry to real recovery. Bless that. There's a whole chapter and one very popular recovery book that's addressed to agnostics because really people that are coming in needing to be recovering from something likely don't have a great relationship with the God. Maybe have some church trauma, likely have some religion trauma, definitely have some issues in their tissues with God. How do I know? Because that's me. That was me. I don't know that I would have said agnostic. I would have said atheist because I was very angry. If there was a God, I believe that God killed my dad and therefore I was done. And what I realized is like, actually, I was just hurting. I was just hurting. And the cool thing about many recovery communities is they're like, you don't even have to call it God. You don't have to call it anything. It could be love. It could be light. It's got to be something though that you can go to and you can plug into and you can light up within yourself and remember that you're your own divinity so that you can see the miracles of faith, so that you can see the miracles of recovery, so that you can watch it happen over and over again, the thing that wasn't supposed to happen, but it did in your favor because you plugged in, because you invited the power to move through a simple prayer, because you took the time to receive the download, because you meditated. Because you invested daily with a relationship with your spirit, with your Gus, with your source, with the universe, with love itself, whatever it is, It doesn't care what you call it. And it's not necessarily related to religion. A lot of people, I'll say, well, tell me about your spiritual path. And they'll tell me about their religion. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not talking about that. That wasn't the question. Religion is like a house, and the God is like the spirit that exists everywhere in that house and in the neighborhood and the city and the world and the universe. So, yes to religion. I personally attend church and love it. Have incredible experiences with my religion of choice. I love it. I recommend it, support it, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is connecting with something that's bigger than you, that's beating your heart, that's filling your lungs with breath, because you certainly aren't doing that on your own. And frankly, although I was very angry with the creator of the universe when I came in, I was so beaten down by my addiction that I had no other argument left in me. And I hope that you've been able to get to that place too, or that you surrender a little more gracefully than I did. Plus, it makes life a lot easier. In the same conversation with my friend who's struggling, I noted, I was like, hey, maybe part of the struggle is you're trying to play God. And like, we're not set up for that. We're not set up for that. We're not set up to clench our fists. We're set up to raise our hands, palms open, and surrender and love and welcoming. And in saying, I'm just the vessel, I'm just the channel. And I can't fix my sister, and I can't fix my husband, and I can't fix all the trials and the assassinations of the political climate. I can't fix any of that. But I can plug into the thing that I believe can, and I connect with my community so we can elevate the consciousness of the recovery community and bring more light and bring more love into the world. I can do that, all because I had alcoholism. What do you know? What a gift. What a gift to be in the recovery community. Because listen, I see a lot of normies out there, and they're struggling and they're suffering and they're diagnosed with all the mental illness, and they don't have a recovery program. But I want to invite you in because there's something for everyone. There's a 12-step program for everything. There's a recovery, a spiritual program for everyone. And so the question is, what are you waiting for? Is it more freedom or more suffering? Welcome. The freedom is your birthright. The love is your birthright. The joy is your birthright. Welcome in. The requirements are a framework for change, a community, and plugging into a higher power. Two more tenets. Number four. Number four is cleaning our own house. And that doesn't mean your physical house, although definitely do that. That's helpful because our cars and our houses are symbols for what's happening on the inside. That's a different conversation. What I mean by this is we got to go make things right with the people that we've harmed. We've got to go make things right with the places we've harmed. We've got to go make things right with ourselves. We've got to make things right by releasing guilt and releasing shame and paying back the money and having that card conversation that might sound a little something like this. Hey, when I stole from you, whether it was your dignity or your money or your power, that was wrong of me. I'm now welcoming recovery in my life. I'm trying to be transformed, to be a different person in the world. And I want to know what I can do to make that right. And then you invite in that person to just speak whatever their truth is. Cleaning your house, one making things right conversation at a time. And this is across every spiritual tradition. It's across most of the recovery programs. If it's not, I'm looking at you with a side eye because it's a requirement. We can't be as free as we were designed to be and still have unrighted wrongs. So if the person is dead, you write them a letter. If the person is in Baltimore, you go to Baltimore and you make it right with them. Whatever you can do to clean your house, to make things right with the people that you've harmed, the institutions that you've harmed. And in so doing, you are making things right with yourself. Because I can't carry guilt when I've made the face-to-face right the wrong conversation. I can't feel shame when I've looked the other person in the eye and said very bravely, with support from community, with support from mentorship, with support from higher power, This is where I wronged you. How can I make it right? The guilt and the shame evaporate. And the fifth and final tenet, as I see it today, of real recovery is helping others, serving others relentlessly. Because as it turns out, I didn't actually get sober just for me. What I've realized over the last 15 years is I got sober because God had a plan for me and I have an assignment that I was drinking on top of, that I was suffocating because I thought that I was separate. And I don't need to go all the way back through my life, although I did that, to figure out like where did the separation occur? We don't actually need that to start practicing real recovery. And so I help others. My purpose is now to help others. It's definitely to stay sober because nothing happens unless I do that. Okay. So if you're just starting your sobriety journey, like, yes, that's the most important thing. Stay there. But it still requires the same thing if we're going to stay sober. One is get yourself into a framework for change. Otherwise, that's why so many stories in whatever program or not no program have the word relapse in them. Relapsed. Yeah. Why? Because you thought you were separate. You thought you were disconnected and you disconnected based on that assumption. You didn't submit to the framework for change. You didn't invest or allow yourself to be supported by community. You didn't plug into a higher power. You didn't clean your house. And the most likely recovery and sobriety assassin is you didn't help others in the way that you could. Again, no shame in the game, just a curious noticing of which of the parts of the tenets of real recovery are strong and which are not. And that last one is relentless helping others. Now, that doesn't mean I'm over functioning to give things that I don't have to other people. But it's when I'm in a room and I notice the person who looks like they're suffering, I go down and sit next to them and I say, "Hey, sis, what's going on?" And I'll listen. When somebody calls, I try to pick up the phone or call them back and say, "Hey, what's going on? Tell me what's going on." And a lot of times, just in holding the space, no advice required, changes the game for that person. Relentless service to others, even when it's hard, because that creates more freedom. And then the freedom multiplies when it's shared. So recovery goes way beyond substances. It's universal. It doesn't matter what you're recovering with or what you're recovering from. It's universal. Real next level recovery is about wholeness. It's about alignment. It's about remembering who you are, becoming the version of you that you were created to be, and remembering whose you are, hence the connection with a higher power. So, quick snapshot: framework for change, community, higher power, cleaning your house, and helping others. The basic tenets of real recovery. And if there's a lot of struggle and there's a lot of strife, we're likely missing one or more of those tenets. So here's the invitation. What would it look like if that's something that you want? If you're like, "Meh, I don't want that," you're probably still not listening still. But if you are, the invitation isn't to go be perfect at all the five. It's what's the next thing? Like what would it look like for you to lean a little bit more into your own version of real next level recovery beyond just being sober, but a commitment to you being free? What's one move you can make today that would shift that something inside of you so that you don't feel as separate, you don't feel as disconnected, you feel deeply connected to everything that's possible and available for you? What would it look like? Is it a phone call? Is it checking out that recovery program that you were dissing? Is it getting on your knees or stretching out your arms in prayer? Is it 3 minutes of meditation? Is it making that harm right? Or is it calling that person back who sounded like they needed help? It can be so many things. I can't name the thing that it is for you, but I'll tell you, your soul already knows. It already knows. So, what would it look like for you to lean in a little bit more? What's the one move that you could make today that's shifting your sobriety into recovery? Or if you're not sober and you don't need to be, you don't even want to be, what's a move you could make based on the framework to recover even more deeply, which means freedom and happiness and joy and connection and wholeness? I don't think there's a breathing human who doesn't want more of that. So, in closing, I want to remind you that there is a big difference between sobriety and recovery. And I hope that your journey does include sobriety because it is amazing. It definitely has been the thing that changed everything, but it was the beginning to something much bigger. I hope that you get a taste of that. And I want to invite you in if you love something that you heard, if you want to know more about something that you heard, reach out. The text invite is in the show notes. The other thing that's in the show notes is if you're a woman and you're like, yeah, I'm practicing real recovery, I'm available for that, and I'm looking to create even more freedom and even more expansiveness and even more success and even more joy in my life. I want to invite you into a conversation with me. And in this one on one conversation, I'm going to ask you things like, what is the thing that you would love to create? You've got the foundation of sobriety. You've got the foundation of recovery. You've got the foundation of what your spiritual path is. What would you love to create? Is it something big like a career milestone? Is it a financial goal? Is it a trip that you want to take? Is it a relationship that you want to improve or manifest? What is it? Because real next level recovery makes you available for everything that's possible for you and your dreams and your life. And if you feel called forward and you're like, yeah, I get this. I'm doing this. I love this. I love real recovery. And I know I'm on the edge of a breakthrough and I want support in talking through the dreams and giving voice to the limiting beliefs and wondering what it takes to cross the bridge between where I am now and where I know I am destined to be. I want you to get on the calendar, you and me in that conversation so that we can create that sacred space for who you were made to be, who you came here to be, what you were assigned to create. And I'd love to hold space and energy to help you clarify what it is and map out what it's going to take for you to go from, I know I'm supposed to do it, from hot damn, I did it. Please open your hearts and receive this from mine. I love you so much, no matter where on the journey you are. There's nothing you can do about it. I love you. I'm so stinking proud of you. If you're sober, if you're not sober, if you're recovery, if you're not recovery, if you're just like, I don't know what's going on, I love you. And I deeply and profoundly believe in your ability to feed the good wolf and create a life you absolutely love. Mwah. See you in the next episode.